Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I figured I would just show you guys the drawing process behind how I draw eyes in my own art style. So yeah, I'm not exactly an expert, but I figured I would do this because I honestly don't have any other ideas for what to upload yet. I'm still trying to get used to editing and stuff like that. So anyways, as you can see, I kind of started with like a double circle type of shape to get an identification of where the eyeball is and where the pupil is, just so that way when I'm going through the process of drawing the eyelashes and where the eye ends, I know kind of where it should go. I'm kind of thinking for this one, we're going to go for a little bit of an evilish look. So we're going to put that kind of design in the middle. I like to kind of play around with different types of pupils instead of keeping them all just the same. And I also love adding fancy little eyelash flickers on pretty much any character if I'm able to. So we're going to add a little bit of those there. I'm going to obviously, erase some of those tidbits. Honestly, I think that the eye shape looks really good for a villain, so I think we're gonna go for a very villainous look for this one, because I feel like that would really just tie it together. Um, so let's see here. I think I took a pause here because I was checking my phone. um, but anyways, yeah, so again, it is in my style, so obviously like it's not gonna look perfect, and in my opinion, I think that it could very much look better, but that's just me. But anyways, I'm gonna lower the opacity on the first layer, the sketch, just so that way I can get a good outline. I'm gonna outline it with some simple colors, nothing too complicated, and then we'll add more detail later. Since I want to go for a villainous look, I'm thinking we should probably go for a red kind of color scheme here for the pupil in the middle. Excuse me, my nose is running. We're going to go for a little bit of a red design here in the pupil area. Keep in mind that you can play around with whatever type of pupil design that you want. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of some of the Naruto characters' eyes, but that's just me. But I like to outline the eye as well in a darker color than what's going to be inside the eye. I made a little bit of an oopsie there, but I like doing that because I feel like that just enhances the overall like spot where the eye is, so we can identify like where it begins and where it ends. That's just me. I know some people probably do that, some people don't. Honestly, it's just my style. It's how I do it. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the eyelashes. I'm going to outline them in a darker color. Honestly, I was really contemplating going for a Gojo look where I was going to do whites with the blue eyes, but I kind of like the villainous theme here that we got going on, so we're going to stick with the darkish purple. And yeah, so basically I think that the biggest thing about my style is I keep the eyes relatively simple. I don't do too much detail because I like to keep things easy for me to do, because I'm not gonna lie, my art skills are decent, but I think that they could definitely improve, and I think that they will improve. So obviously, there'll be an opportunity for improvement there. I'm gonna take a lighter purple, if I can put it on the right layer first. There we go. I'm gonna take a lighter purple and I'm gonna go inside here. This would be the like actual hair color of the character. And I always make sure that the eyelashes match the hair color. That's just my personal preference for my style. You do not have to do that. I know that some artists don't do that. They might make the eyelashes black, or they might make it a separate color altogether for varying reasons. I like keeping it the same color as the hair because it adds more energy to the character that I like. And I feel like it also makes it more interesting when you're looking at the character's face because they have more detail on it. So, like, if I did a scene where, I'm zooming in on just the character's face, it's not just going to be a whole bunch of, boring colors. It actually has some kind of pop to it. But as you can see, I am currently struggling to figure out what I want to do. But for the skin, I'm kind of thinking we go for a grayish kind of blue. I don't know, I feel like it really matches the vibe that I'm going for. So honestly, we're gonna go with that because that is gonna be perfect for this type of color scheme that we have going on. Still struggling to find the right brush. This part right here though is pretty interesting that I like to do. I like to take the lower half of that eyelash there and I like to blend it down. Normally I would blend it into the skin just so that way it's like, you know, there, but if I'm just doing like a simple close-up eye, then I don't necessarily do that because it's not really needed. But I like doing that because, first of all, I feel like it adds some extra little tidbit, but I also like how it kind of makes it wispy. And so, yeah, I am again struggling to find a color. We're gonna go into the pupil though. We're gonna go inside the pupil and we're gonna add some of that orange there. I honestly think that it's looking like a Naruto character, like the eye shape though. Like it's kind of resembling like it's one of those. I haven't watched Naruto, so I can't say off the top of my head, but it's that's what it is like giving, if you will. I'm gonna go for a pinkish color for the eye because I think that it helps to contrast the outline easier. As you can see, I did pick a lighter color because naturally going with a darker one wouldn't look as good. You could probably play around with that, and I feel like eyes are one of the things that you can bend the rules with pretty easily. So it's not like you have to legitimately focus on one particular type of way of doing an eye. There are a lot of things that you can do with an eye to make it interesting. I'm going to take a lighter color of the base color for the eye and I'm going to put it down on the bottom. Now I made a little bit of an oopsie here and I'm just now realizing that that is an oopsie. Technically that is supposed to be like also over top of the bottom pupil circle. So that was a slight error on my part. It's supposed to be like kind of like a fade almost like over top of it or a blur if you will. So I probably should have changed the opacity and put it over top like I'm going to do for this top bit. The top part is always going to be darker because, you know, it has the eyelashes looming over that bit of the eye. And so I always make that part darker. I'm going to lower the opacity there, which is what I should have done for the bottom bit. But I lowered the opacity there. Boom. It looks pretty decent, I'd say. So now I'm going to get me a gray for the skin. I'm going to lighten it a little bit though because I need to make sure it doesn't look like an alien creature. Not that that's an issue, but that's not exactly the kind of look I'm going for. So again, I kind of wanted to go for the grayish look because I think that it really complements the eye, but also I am struggling to currently find a layer to put it on, which is something I need to get better at doing. I think that organizing things better is key, especially when doing art for any type of concept art or graphic novel. So I'm just going to do some simple outline here. I'm probably not going to do too much detail because I'm just showing you guys how I draw eyes. I'm not really going to go into like, you know, eyebrows and stuff like that. I probably will do a video where I do like full face design, maybe full rendering as well. I don't know, because right now I don't really have a lot of engagement on my videos because I only have 15 subscribers, so my shorts get better views than my long form videos, but if you guys would want to see how I render in my style for a long form video, I'd be more than happy to upload that. As you can see, it complements the eye perfectly. I would say that it really works well together, and it also kind of gives that villainous look. So I think that that works perfectly. Now I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna add some extra detail to the eye, some shade. Typically, you know, there's gonna be some darker tidbits on the upper part of the actual like white part of the eye. I don't know what that's called. I feel like I should know what that's called, but that again, that just adds more shadow. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add a little bit of extra detail to the eyelashes. This part really isn't necessary for me. I kind of wanted to just play around and see how it would look if I emphasized it and gave it more detail. But to be completely honest, I don't usually do anything else except maybe add like a quick glow, depending on the character, like if they naturally have more glossy versus more like dead hair. And I say dead hair as in not like they're unhealthy, but like maybe they just don't have a lot of personality as a character, so they don't need their eyes to sparkle. Like here, I'm adding light purple in like a pattern and sort of like triangular shapes. I don't usually do this. I figured I would just play around with this. Honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think it looks very good. Um, Usually I would do that in like maybe one or two spots just to add like again a quick little highlight, a quick little sparkle, and then be done. And you can tell I don't know what I'm doing because I'm trying to blend that and it's not even doing anything because I'm not even using the right size of the brush. So again, this is really like the part where I'm just trying to make it look somewhat decent. I don't usually do this. I was kind of playing around, so excuse that. Excuse that bit. I will say though, for those people who do like adding detail, blending inside the eye will help it to kind of fall into place better because it'll make it look more like it's an eyelash and not just a solid structure. So I don't know. I kind of liked it here, but I think that I probably should have blended it just a little bit better and with different colors because then it would have actually added some type of like, you know, extra detail that it needed. And again, I'm still struggling because I don't know how to draw eyes, guys, I guess. I'm adding a little bit of a highlight towards the left side of the spool. Just some simplistic whites, nothing super crazy. So again, this is my style. It is, in no way supposed to pressure people to draw like me. It is just a way for people to see how I do my eyes, and hopefully someone sees this and is inspired to draw an eye either in this style or utilizing this as inspiration. So at this point, I'm just adding some little extra details because the eye looked kind of boring to me, but that's just me. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe because I will have more news coming out soon on the progress of the graphic novel. Thank you guys for watching.